All right, today we're going to talk all about how to win an offer as a buyer in this current market. Hey, Lily with Keller Williams Realty here in Portland, Oregon. So right now we're in this, extreme sellers market. I'm sure you've heard about it, or you've heard about it from me at least. And a lot of people are wondering, is it even possible to buy a home right now? Am I going to have to forfeit my rights as a buyer in order to get into a property? What all needs to be done? Is it even doable for me? Should I even try? So I want to talk to you about a few little tactics you can use. Some do require money. Some are some really great tactics I have had clients win offers with that don't necessarily rely on you giving up a ton of cash or giving up on your rights. So first one to talk about is, one that does require a little bit of money, which is an appraisal gap. So you may have heard that some people are waiving their right to an appraisal, which means technically that's not really doable from my understanding, just saying like, oh no, we're not gonna even worry about doing one because your lender would maybe have something to say about that. But the idea would be, so let's say you write an offer for $75K over asking price. You're gonna tell them that if the appraisal comes in $20K under what we gave you as our purchase price, we will cover that amount of money with cash. So a lot of people are doing that. That is what that means. Now, some people are coming out, luckily they're, in a spot where they can provide that $20K, $50K to provide that gap in appraisal. But there are circumstances too where if you even had $10,000, $5,000, maybe kind of talking with your loan officer to see, oh, maybe we don't need to put down 10% for our down payment, we can do less in order to have that money available. There's some things you can do with the appraisal gap, but it's obviously one that is a lot of, not in reach for most people. So it's definitely not necessary, but just wanted to explain what that is when people, you see that on a listing if they're kind of requesting that. Other ones that my favorite one we've talked about before is the rent back period. So this one is fairly common, was even fairly common before we came into this period we are in right now. Sometimes I get my head over these. Let me, 1 second. Rent back period is a really good tool you can use. So a lot of the time when you close on a property, your monthly mortgage payments will not start for about 30 days or so. Always check with your lender about this, see what your personal scenario is going to be. But because your rental period your mortgage payments may not start for a little bit longer, what you can do is offer the seller, hey, we'll let you stay in the house for 30 days. Typically the best is going to be 30 days free. And say to them, we'll give you that time in the house in order for you to find your next home. Now, too, I have a lot of clients who are currently in a rental. So they are either paying month to month or are going to be breaking their lease. So for them, they're like, hey, we'll even give them longer in the property. You can either do more free time, or you can say at that point, we would pay you a rent. So mortgage plus interest and tax, all of that fun stuff you would pay to the seller. And the max time you can do on that is about 60 days. So you would have the 30-day close, offer them 30 to 60 days on top of that to do the rent back period. Really, really cool tool. A lot of the time too, sellers don't even really use that full time. So it's pretty cool. A lot of the time we'll offer them 30 days. They already find their next property. They end up using 5 or 10 days just to kind of move their stuff out of the home. You get the keys. It's a really cool way to not really pay any money and get that home. Really good. So other one that's been coming up a lot too recently is inspection. So you may have heard a lot of people are just waiving inspection, meaning they're not going to have the inspection contingency. So they may still inspect the house for their own knowledge, but they are not going to be able to tell the seller after getting their inspections back, oh my gosh, I do not want this house at all. There's so much wrong with it. They're waiving their right to do that. In my opinion, I would never suggest my client do this, even in a circumstance like we're in right now. I would say, hey, let's wait and find your dream home. Let's do some other strategies to win you that property. One kind of middle ground that we've been doing that seems to work really well is to say, hey, we're not going to ask for repairs above $1,000, below $1,000 or above $2,000, whatever the comfort level for you as a buyer would be. So this is to say to the seller, hey, if something bigger comes up, if there's a sewer issue, a roof issue, something that, will cost a good amount of money, that's something that we're going to ask you to negotiate with us on the price of that repair. But if like a small plumbing issue or something that we know, especially on my side as an experienced realtor, I can tell you, oh, that's going to be, you know, that leak in the downstairs shower will be about $400, not a huge deal. And that's something you feel comfortable covering yourself. That's where you can tell the seller, hey, we're not going to ask for any repairs under this amount, showing them you're not going to be like nitpicky, as we would say, with repairs, and you're willing to take those on yourself. I have clients that are either in kind of a construction field or are just somebody that is fairly handy and feels very comfortable doing stuff themselves, or they're people that have some cash available, you know, up to that $1,000, $2,000 amount, that if something came up in the repair addendum, they would take care of that stuff themselves. And this is a really good way, again, just to show the seller we're serious about buying this property and we're not going to, get into a bunch of negotiations with you, because this is a competitive market. They want the strongest offer. So being able to just put yourself a little bit higher up is a really, really good way to, set yourself apart from the rest and hopefully win on your next home. And just want to reiterate again, it's completely possible to buy a property in this market. We're doing it on a daily basis right now. And yes, there's strategy involved. I'll probably do another video actually here soon on kind of the pricing strategy of things, because that definitely comes into play when it comes to winning on offers. But want to keep this semi-short here for you. So if you have any questions and want to talk out what it's like to be a buyer in this market, how you can actually find your dream home, have that strategy in place, I'm happy to set up an appointment with you on Zoom, go over your options, and build out a strategy for you on getting your dream property. Feel free to send me a message. I'll put my contact information below as well, and I look forward to talking with you. Thanks.